Hey, it's me, Weirdo, and today I'm going to be doing the opposite art style challenge. Now, I know this challenge is a little bit outdated, but I thought it'd be worth a try since I've never really done it before. So, yeah, let's get into it. So what I'm going to be doing first is drawing in my normal style so that at the end, when I finish creating the style, we have something to compare it to. So I'm just going to be drawing what I usually draw, which is basically cute girls. But here I'm drawing my OC. Her name is Lydia. So this is just, it was very fun to draw. It was nice to relax because I haven't been able to have a lot of ideas still. I'm still going through that art block. Pray for me. But yeah, anyway, this is the finished product of Lydia. I really think she turned out super cute. So now I have to go and figure out what is the exact opposite of this style. So now what I'm going to be doing is I asked a couple of friends and family members to describe my style in a couple of words, and all the words that they told me, I decided to write them down in this little notebook so that we can assess and look at it and see what other people view my style as well as like what I think it is. So here are all the words lined up, and some of them are interesting to say the least. For example, the Hamilton animatic one, definitely wasn't expecting that. But anyways, now we have to figure out what are we gonna do with these words. Okay, so the words that I wrote down, I decided to circle the ones I thought either were repeated a lot or the ones that really I think resemble my style, like especially the word round. I 100% agree with that, and as well as stylistic. But the word expressive was repeated at least like 4 times between a couple different people, and just semi-realistic and proportional. Those really stood out to me because I whenever I describe my style, I definitely say stylistic, but also at the same time I do keep majority of the proportions of a normal human in the body. So yeah, and I'm gonna show you what I did real quick. Hold on. So what I did was I wrote down all the words that I circled, and then I wrote their antonyms right here. So I'm thinking since stylistic but realistic and proportional but disproportional, I'm trying to think about like if the final piece, how is it going to be realistic but disproportional? So I'm thinking I'm going to take out realistic and go full cartoon type of Cartoon Network, or kind of like stockings and panties, or I forgot what it's called, but that one show that is really known for their style because it's so bold and very sharp. So I'm thinking I'm going to go into the really stylistic, cartoony side, and very much not keep the normal human proportions like usual. So I think I'm just gonna cross that out for now. Now I'm officially starting to figure out the style. Now it may seem like I am just jumping in and I know exactly what I'm doing right off the bat, but I did do some work in about the style in my sketchbook. So I had my reference of my sketchbook out while I was doing this. So the thing that really bothered me about the few things I did in my sketchbook was the body. So that was my first priority as soon as I wanted to practice digitally. Basically what I did for the body was I just elongated it. For me, in the sketchbook version, it just looked too chibi, but I made the torso, I made the torso shorter than the body, but I made the legs and the hips like really, really long compared to like the rest of the front body. And of course, I just wanted to keep the big hands and big feet because I thought that would be a very interesting factor about this. And I'm also thinking about the eye shape. I did one big semicircle
that's slightly angled. And I also did a couple variations of this semicircle as well as a full circle. If I want to keep this style, I think I'm gonna have to come back to it because the full circle or oval I didn't really like that much. But now that I got the basic proportions and the way I want to draw everything, like the hands and stuff, now that I know what I want, now it's time for me to actually figure out the coloring style, and the line art. So for me now, currently, the line art is very textured. I like to have a textured line art. But since this is the opposite, I need to have a very clean, smooth brush. And so I just decided to go with the Ibis Paint X Japanese pen style pen, and smooth. And as well as when I'm normally drawing digitally, I like to use very saturated colors. So it just broke my heart, but I had to use very desaturated colors, which, I don't know, so it just felt wrong for me, but I just have to get used to it. So these are the 2 pages of practice I did about the new style that I made. So now that I know all this, I want to put it into practice and do a digital drawing with this style. And then finally we'll go on to drawing the same thing I did before. So for this, I don't have a lot to say about it, except for the fact that it took a lot more thinking about than usual, which is fine because this is supposed to be the opposite of what I do. And I kept on finding myself accidentally doing things I would normally draw. For example, at some point I remember thinking the torso looks a little bit too short, so I started to elongate it, but I needed to remember that was on purpose. I needed to do that. And as well, I remember at the coloring stages, I started leaning towards those saturated colors that I really like, so I had to go in multiple times and adjust, especially the shirt color. I remember I kept on going back and forth between the shirt color all the time because it was just too saturated. But also at the same time, I didn't want to lose value, so I had a lot to think about for this one. But yeah, it was actually very fun. Oh, and I forgot to say this, that for the shading, instead of using that textured square brush that you see me render with all the time, I used the normal pen fade and did very, very simple basic cell shading, no airbrush gradients besides like in the cheeks where there's blush, but that you can hardly tell that it's there. And I did this cool thing that I see other people do, where it's like those bright neon lights that go all around rim lighting for the character. So I decided to do that because I thought it would fit the style, especially for how harsh and very sharp lined it is. And this is the final product. And now it's time to finally redraw my OC Lydia in this new style. So now I am very excited to start this because I feel very much more comfortable with what I now know and I've established in this new style. So this one was definitely a lot quicker than the one I did before. And I also even did a few things in the line art where there's this part, especially like the shadow underneath the neck. Instead of using a shadow color, I decided to just use the line art as that shadow, and that's what I really like that I decided to do here. The line art was going to be used as a shadow, like for example on the lips and of course the neck, like I just said. And I still struggled to go with desaturated colors, especially for how bright and very pastel and beautiful Lydia's lavender sweater was. I really wanted to bring those colors back because I just liked them so much, but I had to resist with all my might to not do that. I also have to say that once again I did have trouble with the proportions as well. I kept on making the head too small for this type of style, but I did fix it a couple of times, so it's way better now. And also my favorite part of making this was actually drawing her eyes in. So in the original, I made her eyes hazel. So what I did was I used the pen fade in a low opacity and blocked in some of the hazel colors. But here I used the lasso fill and made some geometric shapes to be the hazel color. And I just love how that turned out. I really like that. So this is the final product of the Lydia in this new style. And honestly, I had a lot of fun creating this. Especially since it's all stuff that is essentially the opposite of what I like in my art. I really like it, honestly, and I do see this as like a side art style that I could use like once I'm bored or have art block again. I could just start drawing in this style and not really worry about it. But yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me create this new style, and maybe I can even bring it back more. And anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.